something that we got to get into, Noble. I'm talking about women in the UK, diaspora, who go through their 20s, ignoring good guys, go to their 30s, ignoring good guys, good qualified guys. They get to their 40s, they're ignoring good guys. Then they get up in age to their 50s and they realize, my feet starting to swell a little bit. Menopause, this, that. I need a little associate. So they get on a plane. Now remember the men here, we've been talking about this for the past few years. The men here are held to a crazy standard. You know what I mean? Very high. You got to make this amount of money, this, that. All these different stipulations that you must have as a man here, especially in the diaspora. But they go home to Jamaica and African countries and that. And a man who has nothing, not a pot to piss in or a window to throw it out of, nothing. They're willing to take this man up. And no disrespect to the man over there, not everyone, but they're willing to take this man from nothing and build him up. They wouldn't do that for a man here, but they're willing to build him up because now you've got to that age where things get scarce here. But I believe that this is an important topic. And what that is a lot of these women, you spend your 20s ignoring good men. You spend your 30s ignoring good men. You spend your 40s ignoring good men. And you get to your 50s and you start to realize then that God didn't make us to go through this journey alone. Some of us may do that and some of us may thrive alone. But the truth is, we weren't born to be alone, folks. And the facts are that a lot of these women have ignored good men, great candidates to be husbands, all because they may not have their stuff together right now at this moment. They don't see potential or anything. They just see a finished article. And what happens is when they get up in age, they realize, I need a companion. And that's when the flights to Gambia get booked and the flights to Jamaica get booked. And these man, I'm keeping it real. I know man in yard who move like this. They ain't got nothing going in. Broke, nothing going in. And I understand that mans are in a predicament, but nothing's going in. So when a little woman comes over now, he's on it. He's on it. He's rubbing her feet. He's yamming her front. I'm keeping it real, folks. He's doing things that the average man ain't doing. He's making her feel good. He's making her feel good to where she's saying, I'm going to marry this brother. Quick thing, quick, fast-paced thing. That's how fast it happens. And then what goes on now is you don't know this man from a can of paint. You don't know him. So now you don't know what he's on. A 30-year-old in UK could never, ever get access to your property or nothing like that. Nothing. Because you don't put value on the diaspora. But you go back there now and these men barely got nothing going in. You give them everything. Seeing women here who have got up in their 50s and that, you go and sitting down on rafters and all that for men. But yeah, you're not taking no notice of the man's here and this is what happens. You don't know these men. You don't know what they're on. You don't know what these men are into. I just feel like these women, we're following a lot of these men in the States who are putting out this rhetoric. We're watching a lot of these Tyler Perry films that are promoting this like Western black men are like the enemy of women. This is why I called it out. Like
dysfunction is what they're promoting.
Yeah, like we ain't the enemy of black. Like we've got to fix this, man. It has to be fixed. It has to be fixed because now these women are going back and they're falling for these youngsters, man. And like I said, these youngsters they're going all out with the gal. They're doing the things that they're cooking, they're cleaning, rubbing feet, giving full body massages, doing skin peels. You get me? They're doing everything to where the women are saying, "Oh my God, this man is perfect. He's absolutely perfect." Whereas a man here now, you can't get no looking. You get me? A man's got a little job. Okay, is the man a perfect man? No. But guess what? He's not going to kill nobody though. You see what I'm saying? He's not going to kill no one. Is he the richest man in the world? No. But guess what? He ain't going to rape nobody because we ain't even said that part of it. We ain't even said that part of it. Noble, come true, man.
Industry has been created throughout this plane of existence, especially in quote unquote developing countries where not Nagwan to a point. But if you're industrious, consistent and have drive, man can. We know we've got people in St. Lucia, in JA, in Grenada, in St. Kitts who are doing the thing. They've got mechanic shops, they've got restaurants, they're doing something, farming, they're doing something. But again, the industry's been created where you've got tourism. Tourism is a big part of most developing countries, especially in the Caribbean. We'll keep it where we're there. So the industry is okay. I ain't got the drive. I ain't got the way you call it. I'm not going to work in the hotel. I'm just going to boops them on the beach. I'm going to find the three women that are together on their own, the one woman that's on their own, and I'm going to smile, and I'm going to come with a drink or something, start, yo, you're like a massager, you looking good, sis, da, da, da. And they boops it in, warms it in, and that's the idea of two options. This is a meal ticket while they're there, so they're going to come twice a year, and every time they link, they're going to lace me up with the thing. I'm going to get some good scene too, and this and that. I'm going to do my thing, and I'm going to get the fed. 2 weeks later, the other plane lands, and there's the white woman that's come for the same treatment. Oh, what's going on, Rodney? Yeah, man, everything is everything. And he does the same thing. Lisa gives him a little bit more money. 2 weeks later, the next plane lands. It's a never-ending cycle, and then you take it back to where, as you say, people are actually committed and actually have property there. Yo, are them foreign and them comfy bill has? Let me see what she's saying. Oh, I can help you with that thing still, blah, blah, blah. Yeah, man, I see how my man's doing. Yeah, listen, when you're not here, I can do this. And then it forms, oh, my man's he's young as well. It's a recipe for disaster, for absolute disaster. And as you said, they've missed all of the opportunities back home in the diaspora where they're there. Unfortunately, potentially making the wrong decisions, as unfortunately many women do. Bad man.
Yeah, man, we're going to hold some gal accountable in here today. Aisha, I'm going to get round to this right now, Aisha, because I believe you told us before that you're 28. Yeah, so let's bear that in mind now when we go into what you're saying, Aisha. You're 28, okay, which means you're young, man. You're young. And I'm not saying that in an condescending way. Is that the correct word, Noble?
Yes.
I'm not saying it in that way, Aisha. I'm just saying you're young. So let me give you some context to this thing. So Aisha said, I have to disagree. Many men in the UK are immature and do not want to settle down, pushing women to stay single for longer. Finding men from developing countries is merely a result of this. That's fact. Not wrong what you said there. For most, there is a lot of immature men. So I understand that. But Aisha, God bless man's in being a part of this platform, and the men that we come across on this are proper. Now, I'm not saying that I'm some love doctor or something like that, but most of the men I speak to on here are all working men, are all ambitious, are all have a decent moral compass. They might not be standing in the most financially secure or stable position. And I'm saying that as long as a man's heart in the right place, again, I'm not promoting struggle love, as some women say, but I believe if a man's heart...
Stop there.
Yeah, man.
Stop there. What is struggle love then?
They say struggle love is when you're just scraping to get by together as a couple. The woman's holding down the man. I've never been that man. I've always been, and I can say this proudly, I've always been the provider, just as I am today. I've always been that. And, that's just how I was raised. But a lot of these men in the UK, we talk about this all the time, folks. They're not raised like that. They're not raised like that, so you can't blame them. If the coach ain't good, what happens? The team perform bad. Mm-hmm. If the trainer is not good, what happens to the fighter? He performs bad. That's the same with parenting, folks, which is why I stand on my square with all these stories about the diddies and the this and the that. I always hold folks accountable, always. And a lot of these men are raised that way, people. They're raised the way where, what, do they know any better than that?
So in that chain of mind, that thought process, the man who is now with a woman owns that flat. That's not no council flat we're talking. We're talking about a house, a flat, an apartment which has been purchased, and he's either paying a mortgage on it or the mortgage has been paid off. I can see it. Yeah, of course.
Yeah, if it's that, but it ain't that, Noble.
Yeah, of course
it's not. Man are talking about a council flat.
Get the fuck out of here, man. Please.
Yeah, man.
Please, get the fuck out of here, man.
The man are talking about a council flat. So I definitely see what you're saying, I definitely see what you're saying. Can't assume every woman rejected good men. Aisha, right now, right now, I'm going to get to that. Right now, what's promoted online, let's keep it real. What's promoted is financial security, business ownership, how much should be spent on the first date. Look at them pop the balloon shows. Look at them. Look at those shows. Have you watched those shows? And I know what you're saying, Noble, but have you watched the Jamaica one? Pop the Balloon Jamaica. All right, you're on holiday right now. I'm gonna send it to you. Just watch
Send
it.
it me, I'll peep it.
Yeah, man, just watch it, because when you're watching that, that's the landscape of how people think. And even if you don't think like that, yeah, people make decisions that they wouldn't have made if they were thinking. Now, the facts are, yeah, yes, there is a shortage. There is. I can't lie to the sisters. There's a shortage, Noble, of progressive men from our community. There is.
Yeah. Because they're falling into the trap of not wanting to be their own individual, and then they fall into being part of the crowd. This is how you conduct yourself, and this is how you treat women. That's the expectation. So I'll fall in line with that rather than being an upright individual, being yourself and doing a tizzle wiggle.
There you go. So what happens is now, you sisters now, you're looking at these man, you see what I mean? These man who we're talking about now, and you're judging the whole group based off them. That ain't fair. When some of you ain't even holding yourself accountable. Like, you're not holding yourself accountable as to why you're in this predicament. You've ignored red flags and things of that nature. That's not the real world. How Cassie done her thing, that's not the real world for us. We have to make decisions based on growth. We have to make certain decisions. We got to make decisions that may not always feel the best decision, but we got to make it for the better good. A lot of women, they're getting with these men. I've seen it myself numerous times, and you know, oh, he's got all these baby mothers, but I'm not going to be treated like that. Oh, all these 3 baby mothers, he's not allowed to see them. So 3 different people from 3 different backgrounds just happen to have gone up against him, and it's all gone to belly up. Does that make sense? After the second one, you've got to start looking at man and saying, you did that. You made that happen. And if he's not showing you that level of growth in your relationship, then you need to look and know to yourself, yo, there's no growth here. You're only going cinema at midnight. You're only going to restaurants way out the bits. Like, you know what I mean? The red flags are there, and you're ignoring it. You did that. You chose that. You chose that. You can't now turn around. Why did the man kill her? Do we know why? Yo, even if she boxed him in his mouth, he shouldn't have killed. There's nothing she did.
No justification.
There's no justification. That was simply a demon. That's all that was. That was a demon. He would have stole life from this plane of existence down the line anyway. If he didn't get her, he'd have got someone else. A killer is always going to be a killer, you know, people. There's killers out there now who haven't killed yet. Don't let that go over your head. That's why we don't mingle with crash bandicoots. We don't mingle with crash bandicoots. We let them crash. I've seen people go to the Brum stories. I've seen, man. Yo, you see me? Yo, I got the thing on me everywhere I go, you know. And then I've been going to get my Kit Kat chunky. And I said, oh, shit, the paper. Oh, damn. Oh, that's that brother. Bloody hell. I guess he ran into someone who didn't care about that. Come on, people. This is the express truth. D42, he would. Facts, he would. No guy or woman is a perfect individual, man. Facts, Weston. Facts. But we have to be perfect here. These diaspora men need to be perfect. Again.
Listen. Right. As you know the thing, I won't go too deep, but when I first met my empress, I was a savage. I was nowhere near the person I am now.
Growth.
I wasn't even working, but the empress saw something in me and said, yeah, nah, Noble, yeah, come, don't do that. Think about doing this. Fuck being in the police stations every other day and all that, and Popo coming to the yard and all that. You don't need to do that. You know what I mean? And also, not even just the external, me, myself, knowing, how can I have police come to my mum's house? How can I have them rummaging around the house? You know what I mean? That's wrong. I can't do that. And then it's wider. My grandmother, my sisters, my neighbors, them, to the point where some of the neighbors, something would happen, and you know what they'd say, Mark?
Yeah.
They'll come and knock my mum.
Yeah, man.
Say, yo,
yeah.
This has happened. Yo, there's nobody on it. Is he involved in this thing? So you gotta, at some point, you gotta put on your boxer shorts, like no white front. You put on your damn boxer shorts, yeah? And you say, I've got to be a young man. I can't keep on doing this, expecting a different results, because look what's happening. Always foolishness, not enough any, you know what I mean? It was always foolishness. So you gotta say to yourself at some point, nah. And she said, I'm staying, and look where we're today now.
There you go.
So
what you're explaining is she spoke life into you.
Come on.
She spoke life, and that's something that a lot of men are missing, you know. They've never heard certain words that are speaking life into them. They've spent their life being spoken down to, they might do 10 things good, nothing's acknowledged, but the 5 things bad that they do is acknowledged. And then sometimes you might meet a person. It's not even always a woman. It might be an older man who just sees the light in you. You get me? I remember my brethren used to say all the time, you know, he used to say, certain times, you know, you see when you know your heart's clean, just live your life, because those people that did you wrong, that day will come when they're going to say, damn, that person was all right, you know. I treated that person bad. That realization will come. D42, again, trying to follow the indigenous looking top boy, but we can't follow everything they do. Facts. AMAC, Stella got her groove back settings. Facts, AMAC, this is what it is. Struggle love may just be the only way forward within reason. It don't act, you know what it is, Western? I don't label it struggle love. I'm saying if I've always been this kind of brother. Birds of a feather flock together. What that saying essentially means is if I'm a lawyer as a man, more time I'm gonna find my partner in that region. Some people may not agree with that, but as a woman, let me do it from the man's side then. As a man, if I get engaged to a woman who's a solicitor and she's a solicitor, she spends all her time around solicitors, that's her career. But I'm say, I don't want to put no name on nothing and make anyone's thing seem less than. Let's just say I'm a cleaner in Tesco, but the girl loves me though. She loves me. The kind of man I am, I'd prefer date another woman who's around my thing because I don't want no woman belittling me or talking down to me or... That's just me
really
though.
Push back.
Yeah, no, I hear you. No, but me personally, I don't want that. So for me, if I'm with another sister who's doing the same thing as me, it's like, yo, we're starting out together, we're working together. That's just me. But the woman with the money, she may fall into the trap of the brethren where, yo, look at the money you're making, and my man's doing this, and now it takes a very strong-minded individual to ignore that kind of stuff. But usually you like,
which is true.
Yeah, like Samuel said, I'm not saying Samuels was right about everything, but single women keep women single because what they'll do is, I've seen it myself, where the man might be a man who, you know, he gets caught doing, he's coming home late. Let's just say that he's coming home late, and she phones her bedroom. Yo, my man is coming home late every day. I don't know what to do. Now that friend can literally give her the right counsel then and there and say, sis, what is he out there doing? Yo, he's saying that he's working. Okay, cool. Is he bringing back any corn or what's going on? Ask certain questions. Nah, man. Allow the man. Let the man do his thing or whatever. But then you got another kind of friend who, yo, sis, my man's coming back late. What? Yo, you see, if that was me, he's gone. He's gone. There's no talking. You see this man that I've got in here? He's on the manners. You deserve that. You will get that. You will get. And then what happens? That feeling is then planted into that household.
Yeah.
That's what happens. And then what I'm trying to get at, Aisha, for your earlier comment, is that a lot of women will leave a situation that was salvageable. So it's like a car. The car's mashed up. You might go to the thing, yo, that car's mashed up. And you go back 3 weeks later and the man's fixed the car. That's like a lot of humans' relationship. You're mashing up over trivial things.
Very trivial stuff.
Like,
man.
yo, that you can't be mashing up over that. Like, yo, this is a game of life. You know, we're not in this thing. This is life. We ain't here for long. One thing about those AI things, yeah, what's scary, and it can send a chill down your spine. One day we'll be that to some other group of civilization. One day it will be, yo, walk on. Yeah, I'm going to go on YouTube today. How it was like growing up in 2025.
Scene.
Like, that's what it's going to be one day. So we have to live our life knowing, yo, time don't wait for no man. If you've got a real one, you've got a real one. But what I'm saying is, you get on the plane to Gambia, bare old women. I'm in Gambia. I seen it myself. 2 big women, old enough to be my mom, old enough to be my personal mom, with 2 young Gambian boys. Young. And I'm like, damn, you mean you big women couldn't... There's no men in our dad's age group.
Look on that last point. You see, there is a minority of people of that age in their 50s who are built with proper morals and dignity and can treat women how they're supposed to be treated. And that's a small number at that age mark.
Yeah.
That age group have got that old mentality, man, where what I say and do goes. I don't give a F about your feelings, what's going on. If I want it done, it needs to be done. My food, when I come home after work, my dinner needs to be ready. There's no compromise. And look, in a relationship, sometimes there is bend, there's give, and there's take. You know what I mean? It's not just don't get it twisted. Look, some households, that's exactly how it is, and it can work. But generally, and again, moving down in the age range, it has to be a give and take. The man will, and you can take it or leave it, accept it or reject it. The man is the head of the household.
Facts every time.
Okay.
And it don't
Every
change.
time.
You get me?
It don't change whether in your scenario, which you gave, where you said, I'm a cleaner and she's a lawyer, I'm not doing it. I get that, Mark. But that's, if you had a different mindset and said, yeah, that could still work, you still the head of the household. Financially, you'd still
these Western women ain't going to accept you as that.
No, peep it. But you, as a man, knowing, rah, she's on all of that. Okay, what how can I close this gap so I can be the breadwinner?
Man.
Because as a man, that's what we want, isn't it? As a real man, I don't want my empress to ever be working unless she's working in my thing. I don't want her to work and get NIA through another company or nothing like that. If in an idealistic world, I want to be that successful that she don't work.
But that's because what you're explaining right now is a dying breed, though. That ain't out there like that again. Not like that. All right, let me get into some of these comments. I can see where I'll go on still. Aisha, a lot of women have dated potential and it backfired. People don't want to do it anymore, and you can't blame them. Look at the cost of living. No need to have a man and be struggling. Okay, you're on that I can do bad by myself thing. I get that, and I understand it. I'm not going to disagree with you. I understand that. But I'm just saying that, okay, so the alternative is to go over there in your 60s. Is that the alternative? Because, yeah, there are some women who bring them back and it's all a fairy tale. But it's difficult, man. It's difficult. Ari,
if you're going to do it when you're young, then yeah, it can work like the quote-unquote passport bros and the passport gal then. They're going out there, but unfortunately, what they're finding, I've seen a few videos of this recently, where women from America are going over to like Latin America and stuff, or even to the Caribbean, and they linking it with man them, and most of it's proper, but there's still machismo in it. If it's Latin America, they're still the man. They're expecting subservience from a man.
Yeah, man. Of course.
It's the idea in the woman's mind, which has been injected over the last 10 years, is that men are supposed to be subservient to women, and that's in that now.
Western ways.
Yes, we can acquiesce in certain scenarios. I have no problem in doing that, but there's no submission. No. What do you want next? No. We don't go like that.
But it's the Western world, Noble. The Western world have done that by design, where they've said, "Yo, change up the wage gap and all of that," and they've demasculated certain man.
You know, I come from the corporate
yeah,
side.
Man.
You're only allowed to go up to a certain point. Outside of that, it's black women or Asian women that are going to be above you.
All right, then, and that's how it goes. Ari, I disagree, Mark. I would never move into a woman's place and not have a backup plan. Ari, that's all men have said to me my whole life, and I get it. Still, I do get it, but. When you've met the real one, when you've met a real one, when you've met a real one, lads, I'm talking about that aligns with your thing, that aligns with your universe. Them things won't even come into your head. Them things, you won't even think about no backup flats or nothing. You won't.
Why even consider moving in if that's the idea?
The reason you feel like that, lads, is because the gal ain't for you. That's not the one, and you know it's gonna mash up. That's why that's your gut telling you, family, have a backup plan. But when you align with the right sister, there's going to be none of that, because you're going to know that nothing's going to be perfect, but the two are going to be able to work through things. You see what I'm saying?
This is points. You're going to see the pluses and the minuses. You're going to be like, nah, I see more pluses than minuses here. Yo, cancel. Have back your thing. Or if you want to do a wink, wink, nudge, nudge vibe, sublet the thing. Yeah, I mean, short term, someone you know is trustworthy, he's not going to mash your thing up, and leave your thing. If it does, then you can say, you know what, you're bridging. I've got to come back to the thing, The Empress has gone crazy. The thing's mash up. I'm going to give you like a month or so, and you bowl back.
Has to be, Harry said, it has to be 50-50 minimum.
In what respects? Financially? Or
are you talking? I'm guessing financially still. He's talking. But I mean,
Whoa.
Whatever works for you as a couple, I'd say. There's not no one size fits all. Whatever works for you if it's a thing where that's what works for you, do whatever works for you. There's no one size fits all. A lot of these gurus that are online, they're not even in relationships.
This is the point. Now, if you're on similar wage brackets and it's more than viable for you to 50% contribute, that shouldn't even be discussed. Now, if you're on a higher wage bracket and that person can't commit to 50% of come on, this is the science, isn't it? It's 1 + 1 = 2, isn't it? It goes without saying. Now, again, if before you read that, if the baller lawyer is like, yo, keep your money, brother. Don't even worry about it, man. I'm making more than enough to pay these bills. You just keep that and buy me what you want to buy and buy your things.
Yeah, man. I remember what we have to remember as well, people. Like, remember that these folks have got us all confused. Remember this. The real currency is time. Just remember. Long as you know that, you're good. The real currency and what will matter after all of this. They don't say when you're in the coffin, yo, here lays John Smith. He worked so hard. He made so much money. You're going to see him in the coffin and say, I remember that time me and John had a laugh, man.
Yeah.
I remember that time when me and John was reasoning till 2 a.m. All you're going to have is memories. And how a memory's created? Through spending time together. Remember that.
This is it.
All right. D42. If they have a council flat and not living there, they are committing fraud. That's why there's a housing crisis. Yeah, facts.
That's what I said. Wink, wink, nudge, nudge. But
yeah, facts.
But unfortunately, listen, people sublet upon a sublet. Especially down south.
Yeah, London. Yeah, that goes on enough. Xavier, there are good men here, but they get scooped up quickly, or they don't. Or if they don't, the men have to jump through the hoops to get these women. Facts, Xavier. If there's a black girl who's got a decent body and she's pretty, she can say what she can demand, whatever. That's the climate. Yeah, she's calling the shot. That's the climate we're living in. Where like men,
you know what happens?
Hunger Games.
You know what happens though?
Yeah.
Yeah, Hunger Games for riggedy, and I didn't even watch that shit for real. So what happens is, and this falls in line of sorts, but this is where it can happen, where a brother will then team up with the Love Is Blind crew, because there's always a Becky who's going to see the value in the brother.
Facts.
And she's always going to be rubbing his back and saying, "Yo, John, Steve, listen, I'm here, you know." My throat game's crazy, you know. I can do all this. Look, I can split my legs. I can do this. Yo, oh, okay. Mental note. You know what I mean? And then the more and more Becky, the next week Becky comes around, she says that, and he's been chasing Chantal, and Chantal's like, yeah, maybe next week still, man. You know, you got to step your game up a little bit still before you come. You know what I mean? And he's not getting no play from the sister. Becky's still there, man. Becky's still there with her little clip-in weave. Yeah, come on. With the pumped up lips. Come on. Yeah.
She's training.
She's training. She's went to Turkey. She got the BBL. Yeah. She's doing the thizzle wiggle, man. She's presenting herself cool. You ain't getting no play from the sister. So then he says, you know what? I'm with that gang now because I can't get no from the sister. Unless I go for certain botters, as they say, which, you know, each to their own, man. There's beauty in all shapes and sizes and tones of brown. You know what I mean?
Facts. Xavier, man are realizing that's long and going elsewhere, especially with a passport. A lot of men they don't like the modern woman. That's what it is.
Yes. Yes.
And remember, the modern woman has been built by who? Remember, it's strippers and all that are teaching these girls this, you know. It's ex-strippers and like that Cardi B situation, yeah? I looked at it and I said, and she's one of my favorite lines, did you, man, really think they were going to grow old together? The foundation is built off of stripping and whoring and all of that. It can't last. It can't stand the test of time. People don't understand these things. Threesomes and all that are not for marriages. Anytime you disrespect God's union, you're inviting problems into your place. That's all you're doing. You're inviting problems anytime you bring a third person into your marriage. And I'm not even married, but I know that. You see what I'm saying? And these folks are teaching young girls this. Turn up the thing.
That's the norm.
Turn up the thing. That's it. Yeah. And that's what happens. This is what I say. Even with the let's not even get into it. D42. Sometimes red flags can be well hidden. Remember, everyone thought Ted Bundy was a nice guy. Facts. Yeah, red flags can most definitely be hidden. I'm more so talking about the blatant red flags. So
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I'm also talking about like with the Diddy
Because people
case.
can
Like,
wait
just
all
look
the
at
10
look at the Diddy
10
case. It was
years.
bare red flags, but people ignore them. It's like when somebody will say like, "My man's a thief. Like he stole something from my car," and then you say, "Yeah, he stole from you. He's not going to steal from me though." Put him in your car. You leave the bills in the glove compartment. He ends up taking it. You know what I mean? Like a thief's nature is to steal. They don't say, "Oh, I'm not going to steal from him." A
Not from
thief,
this person.
yeah, a low down dirty thief. Their job, well, not job. Their thing is to steal. They're a thief.
And
But
you
some
shouldn't be
people
in
say,
the
"No,
company
that's it."
of them people in the first place. So again, prevention is better than cure. You know what I mean? Stay away from these wicked people, them, and trustfully, everything is gonna be everything. Otherwise, you stay in the muck and the mire, you're gonna get dirty, right?
Facts, and that's it. And that's what happens with these girls. Facts, Mark. Shout out Western. The red flags you're talking about are the obvious ones, but sometimes they're not obvious. I hear that still, D. I hear that, but I'm solely talking about like me. I guess there's certain things you can't see. I'm just talking about the things you can
People
see.
won't- And just on the deceptive side, people can wait all the 10 years, 15 years, and whatever to really show you who they are.
Facts.
To really show you who they are, those crazy people. So it's very challenging, very challenging. I've said, I will say, and will continue to say, there's not just humans and mankind on this plane of existence, and there's an ad breed and ad mixture of all kind of different somethings on this walking this plane of existence. So you guys gotta be careful, man. Dude, the knowledge. It's like when you're gonna buy a new slap or a surfboard. You go online, you go into Bluetooth first, and you say, boom, this one review. Okay. Oh, that's new about it. Okay. Oh, the battery life's extended. Okay. Yeah, you can do. Okay. Yeah. And you just call a couple of people. Yo, wait, I'm getting this thing. You got this one as well. What is it saying? Shall I upgrade now, or shall I wait to the new version? So you start to do the knowledge in it. But when it comes to male and female, shit, man, look at the lips upon that thing. Yo,
I need it.
That's it. Done. No investigation. No, who's your brethren them? No, where's your family? No talking to. It's just, yeah, man, that looks good.
And I'm going for it.
Good.
That's it.
That's mine. Yeah, man, that's mine.
And then this is where you run into a brick wall. A lot of the time, you're not studying certain mannerisms and like it's the most important decision you're gonna make. And being with a partner, like that's one of the most important decisions because that's who you're taking on the world with. That
So,
you and that person versus the world, really. So if you got a partner who's a snake, you can't grow. You can't grow if you're in a boat, building the boat. Remember, the front is only one aspect of a relationship. The front might only be 10%. It might only be 10% in the grand scheme. Probably even 5%. You see what I'm saying? So I'm not gonna make a decision based on, yo, the girl looks good, this, that. If it's only 5%, I need to know where you're coming from. How would you act in this? How would you act in this situation? People, I hope you enjoyed that clip. If you did, please like, share, and subscribe. And if you want to watch the stream in full, consider becoming a Patreon or joining our YouTube members. And don't forget to hit the like button, folks, and we'll see you in the next one.